All right, now the most exciting part of Iconic Motorbikes, container day. Here we go. If I can remember how to do it. I only really have one arm here, but. Oh, that's a nice way to start. That's a nice way to start.
Oh man.
So this container just came in from Japan. We have, I want to say 37 bikes in here. Some of which are really special. Bostrom 998S. Behind that, I can see an MH900E.
Yeah.
And
some sort of two-stroke.
I see a two-stroke RG back there. And up top, if you can go backwards a bit, a really nice looking NSR 250. So we'll do a bunch of updates today, a bunch of videos today. And Kento, you ready? Let's get it done.
Oh, my favorite bike's up here.
What is it?
The little Honda Davidson.
Oh, the Honda Davidson is in this. Wait till you see this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sick. You're gonna love this.
Yeah, this will be good.
All right, exciting times. Let's do it.
Look at this thing. Oh my God. All right, Kento, bring her down, please. Can it be all three things? Oh my God, I love this. There we go. Look at this beauty. Oh! There you go.
Is that your on or off?
Where? I don't know. Well, it runs better with it down. All right, excuse me, sir. Yeah, thank you. Tires are very flat, okay. But it runs. Yeah. You gotta try this. Well, this was a hectic day, but thankfully we were able to get everything done. Our forklift was giving us a bit of trouble. Adam and I had a bunch of meetings, so we couldn't be joining you for the unload as much as we usually do. But I did want to take some time here at the end of the day. As you can probably tell from the sun, we're about to close things up here. I wanted to feature 6 bikes, but I'll do it in 5 segments. Just some of my personal highlights from this container unload. And so for me, it's giving you a preview of some of the cool stuff that's going to be going up on the auction site, but also just sharing some tidbits of things that I think make these bikes in particular really interesting. So we're starting here with a Suzuki RG500 Gamma. Already a special, very cool bike that we love here at Iconic Motorbikes, but this one is the Walter Wolf edition. Now, to be fair, Walter Wolf editions were very easily cloned because at the end of the day, it was a paint job, some gauge work and that kind of thing. So we will definitely do our research into this as much as we can. The interesting thing about the Walter Wolf bikes, they're obviously named after a gentleman named Walter Wolf, originally from, I believe, Slovenia, who immigrated to Canada and then started a very successful business there, was very passionate about motorsports, I should say. In fact, if you're familiar with Williams, as in Williams F1 team, Mr. Wolf was one of the first sponsors for Williams when he started his F1 team. And then he moved on to other things, and Walter Wolf decided to continue his sponsorship of motorsports under the name Walter Wolf Racing, which is what you're going to see on the tank here. He was very big in Canada. I think he was actually nominated to the Canadian Motorsports Hall of Fame. And so in Canada, Suzuki offered, I want to say 99 examples of this bike. They also did it in Japan. This is a Japanese model. The dash goes up here to 180 kilometers an hour. Obviously the bike is capable of more than that. But these did get model specific gauges. So as I'm sure Riff, who's behind the scene working the magic here, I'm sure he'll show you a cutaway of what the gauges look like here. Beyond that, mechanically, pretty standard RG500 Gamma. Again, a bike that we absolutely adore here. So we'll do some more research to try to figure out if this is an original Walter Wolf. I know the Canadian model bikes, there was a specific VIN range you could look up. The Japanese bikes, not too familiar with that. So we'll do our research, but if you know, if you have those secrets, please let us know in the comments or send us an email because we'll want to, we'll take all the help we can get to make sure that these bikes are properly represented. So that's bike number one. I'm gonna roll this out of here and bring a couple for us to admire in just a second here. Helps if I move the side stand because the tires are flat. So this time we're gonna do two bikes, and they're being featured not because they're particularly, technically impressive or anything like that. I just think they're gorgeous. Actually, I'm gonna back up so you can see a little bit more. I am constantly in love with the different paint schemes that other countries got that we never got in the US. Frankly, we never even got these bikes in the US. These are a pair of 400 inline fours. The Japanese market was seeing a lot more development in this brand segment or market segment. Here in America, no one really cares about 400s. Bigger is better because as soon as you turned 18 or 16, whatever, and got your license, you could get the biggest thing you wanted. Japan had a tiered licensing system, or still does, I should say, a tiered licensing system. So for a lot of people at that peak testosterone age wanting to go fast, this is kind of what you were capped at. So again, 400cc inline fours, one from Kawasaki, a ZX400, one from Suzuki, a Gixxer 400, both great bikes. Selfishly, or not selfishly, but I would argue that the Honda NC30 was a better bike or a more fun bike to ride. But Honda never came out with a paint scheme like this, black with accents of pink, purple, a little bit of blue, that kind of thing. It's just, I just think these things are so cool, especially nowadays. You're not going back 30 years and riding one of these trying to be the fastest 400 rider out there. You're trying to get a slice of nostalgia, remember the good old days, whether that was old school motorcycles, vibrant 80s paint jobs, whatever it might have been. So I think these are particularly cool. Even cooler, we actually not only have the Kawi and Suzuki 400 duo here, we even have the bigger brothers for both of these bikes, as in 750s, a Ninja ZX7 and a Gixxer 750 in the matching black, pink, purple paint jobs. So I think it's just gonna be a really cool offering. Obviously they'll all go up on the auction site. We're not gonna pair them together or anything like that, but you might have a moral obligation. If you buy the Gixxer 750 in this color scheme, you might have to buy the 400 as well. So just a cool, cool pair of bikes in some color schemes that you normally don't see here in the US. All right, let's keep it moving. Ah, thank you, sir. Alrighty. So, just talked about a couple of 400s. Here's another one. And there was a lot of 400s in this container that we just unveiled, as you probably saw through some of the footage earlier. Lots of NC30s, NC35s, that kind of thing. The NC30 we did get in the US, NC35 not so much. Here's another one that we did not get. Now, if you look at this quickly and you see FZR400, you're gonna say, well, Abhi, that's not right. We got the FZR400 here in the United States. This is not an FZR400 per se, it is an FZR400RR. So, it got some upgrades in terms of suspension and things like that. It also got a power boost up to 60 horsepower. Not offered in the US, really, really cool for A, the fact that it's up spec, and B, if you look at the front of this thing, they changed the headlight design. It's actually flush like an OW01, which I just think is super cool. Obviously, OW01s were offered in two different versions, one with sunken in headlights, one with flush headlights. But If you look at this at a quick glance, it's basically a baby FZR400RR OW01, the homologation special, which is really, really fantastic. Our head driver here in our transport division, Corey, actually owns a black version of these that he's going to, he just brought in from British Columbia. He's gonna service it a little bit, do a few Sunday rides with us, and then probably put that up on the auction site as well. So depending on timing, you may see that we have a white one and a black one up for sale at the same time. So not to get too heavy on 400s, but I just think these bikes are so cool. They're, 250s are probably too small for the average person. 400s make enough power for the average rider to still have fun and remember why little bikes rule. So this, in terms of scarcity, in terms of rarity, trying to find a 400 that was not available in the US and you wouldn't see at your local bike show or something like that, this definitely counts. And it's got that traditional red and white Yamaha paint job. So if you're a collector who's already got an FZR400 or 600 or FZR1000, this would slot right in and really help your collection stand out. All right. The train keeps on rolling. Well, as if the bikes weren't small enough, now I'm going even smaller. This is a CBR 250RR. It is the MC22 generation, which is my personal preference when it comes to these bikes. Affectionately known as the Baby Blade because it was kind of a baby version or a smaller version of the Fire Blade. The MC22 had some good upgrades. So first of all, I think the styling looks better. A redesigned front fairing gives it a little bit more width, a little bit more presence. Went from one rotor to two up front for better braking. And the thing revs to 18,000 RPM. Not the highest out there, but pretty darn close. And as my partner Adam likes to mention in social media videos and things like that, one of these with a pipe on it, you could be doing 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, but if you're in first gear and you're up in the revs, it sounds like a Formula One car going by. The note of an engine revving to 17,000, 18,000 RPM is absolutely fantastic. So if you're into it for the sound and those kinds of joys, as opposed to not wanting to try to break the speed limit and go felony speeding, that kind of thing, these bikes are really appealing. Plus, this is my personal favorite paint scheme or livery for these bikes. We've sold a couple of these before. A really cool client of ours named BJ, who races Arma, actually uses one of these as one of his Arma race bikes, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So we'll show a little image of that as well. So I think Adam and I are flying out to Barber tomorrow. I'm sure this video will come out later, but we'll be at Barber and we're looking forward to seeing BJ and a bunch of you guys out there as well. So there you go, the Baby Blade, very, very cool bike. And I think like everything else I was showing in this video so far, something that was not available in the US. The next bike I show and the last bike I show was available in the US, but it's a little bit different for some other reasons. Alrighty. Well, this one obviously was offered in the United States. It is a Ducati 998S Ben Bostrom replica. But what a lot of people don't know is Ducati did not just sell this bike in the United States. So there's a couple of things to point out that I think are interesting about this bike. We'll start with the production. So Ben's number when he was racing, 155. So Ducati made 155 versions of it, or examples of it. But a lot of people think that's all they made. Turns out what they did was they made 155 for the US, 155 for the UK, and then 155 for ROW, which stands for the rest of the world. This is one of those rest of the world bikes. It was originally sold in Japan, so it's actually got some cool Japanese, Ducati Japan and Japanese stickers, warning stickers, that kind of thing around it. When you compare the UK and the US bikes, the UK bikes got a better engine. They got the deep sump S motor. The US bikes, I think it was emissions related, I'm not entirely sure, but they did not get the upgraded motor. So one of the things Ducati did to make up for that was give it carbon fiber panels down here. Now, this, as a rest of the world bike, does not have the carbon fiber panels. I actually don't know if it has the high power motor or the deep sump motor, and that's something that we'll figure out when we take the bodywork off and service it. But this one's got 15,866 kilometers, so just under 10,000 miles. It is number 14 of 155 that were made for the rest of the world. One interesting thing, not normally, but on the US bikes, Ben signed all the tanks. Like Ducati physically, you know, gave him all the tanks and like a silver Sharpie to sign them. This is one of the rest of the world bikes, so it does not have Ben's signature on it. It just has a Ducati Japan warning sticker. So it's a little bit different. Again, this is something that they're rare enough in the US, but this is cool. It's just got a little bit of a different flavor to it. It's got a speedo that goes to 280, but in kilometers, of course. So I just thought that was worth sharing here. Other upgrades for this bike compared to a stock 998S or a 998 of the time, you've got Olin suspension, upgraded Brembo brakes, I think they're 4-pot calipers, Olin steering stabilizer that we're looking at here. So it wasn't just a different styling, it was also upgraded performance. And speaking of the styling, normally when you see a race replica or that kind of thing, the bike that's the production bike is designed to look like the race bike. Kind of seems obvious you'd want it to mimic or ape the styling. For this bike, Ducati did not do that. It does not actually look really anything like Ben's race bike. Instead, this whole design that you see here with the stars and stripes and all that kind of thing is actually based on Ben's helmet that he was racing in. So kind of an oddball fact there, but that's what we're all about here at Iconic. So hopefully you enjoyed. Those were my 6 personal favorite bikes from the container, but if there was something else that you really liked, that you saw, that you have questions about or anything like that, you can let us know in the comments. You can email me, Abhi, A-B-H-I, at iconicmotorbikes.com, and we'll do our best to help out. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at Barber.